You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes to continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, True Weight Solutions, The 100-Year Lifestyle, pureCHIROnotes, Titronics, Passive Practice Profits, BrainTap Technology, Sherman College of Chiropractic, SCED, ChiroPro Accounting, A-Line, and Midwest Brain Health Technology. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 285 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your co-host Luke Millette, and here's your host, Jim Chester.
So today we have the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Dwayne Hoskins, and he pairs up the future of technology with the future of chiropractic. Stay tuned. Welcome to another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Today we have one of our esteemed teammates, Dwayne Hoskins, and we have co-host Luke Millette, and Dwayne's coming in from South Carolina, Luke, Michigan, and Jim, I'm coming in here from Colorado today. So it's really cool. Luke and I are diversifying it up. He has a new base of operations up there in the beautiful state of Michigan, and you guys are going to see a whole lot more dual interviews from distance now with our new format. So it's really exciting. And Dwayne, we were just kind of like chopping it up offline, and you're like, dude, it's been like 2 years since we did our last interview. So
almost 2 years to the day. And let me say this: isn't technology great? Isn't technology great?
Yeah,
we do this. That's one of the things I love about chiropractic. We're always on the cutting edge, regardless of the crap people say about us. We're on the cutting edge of this, and especially technology. But yeah, this is great, man. Happy to be here.
Yeah, it's really exciting for us too. You know, it's been a 4-year run. And it's been a lot of fun since day one, and we just keep on figuring out how to, like in chiropractic, deliver the goods. And
well, let me say something as part of the team that does this. Seeing you manage the growing pains of this business and this venture and this mission, and that's mission is the free speech in chiropractic. Seeing the growing pains and what you've done is absolutely amazing. As a chiropractor, you know, this is my profession. I've adopted you into it. A lot of people have adopted you into it. You are one of the handful of non-chiropractors that have made a difference in my profession. So thank you. Thank you for letting me be part of this. Kudos for the growth that we've seen, and specifically how you've managed the growing pains and going from an idea to doing some standard stuff, to exploring this podcast realm, to teaching people how to do the podcast, to now being in multiple locations and multiple languages and 2 continents. It's just absolutely amazing. And then you still go and do, sign up 700 people in Alaska at a state fair for the chiropractors. I mean, just watching you promote my profession better than some of my colleagues is absolutely amazing. It's humbling, and I'm much, much appreciated. So thank you.
Well, as we've grown into this Chiro Hustle family, it's been an honor to work side by side with you two from distance, and to have you help manage some of our growing pains, and to, transition website platforms, and to make sure that things are getting published on the backside. So we wouldn't be where we are today without the inclusion of all of us. And you've been a tremendous team player on this journey with us, and it's helped with your consistency and your ambitions to get this message out there with us. So thanks for allowing Luke and I to be the catalyst of the content creation and making sure that we deliver the right message on the backside. And you've been with us each step of the way, so thank you so much. And, I know that you've also supported us from a fundamental standpoint of sponsorship with pureCHIROnotes, and a fundamental standpoint from Titronics. And those are both passion projects of yours outside of being a chiropractor, but they definitely have a big mission and vision behind them as to why you diversify some of your time towards those companies as well. So maybe shine a light on what it means for you to be a part of the pureCHIROnotes movement, and
Sure.
with working with Roger over at Titronics.
Yeah, I want to do Titronics first. You guys interviewed Roger a couple of weeks ago, and that episode was amazing. It's part of our library now that we send out to people interested in what Titronics is all about. But Titronics is one of those pillars in the profession. It's the second technology adopted by the profession to assess whether the body has subluxation or not, whether there's balance in the autonomic nervous system. It was patented in 1925, which is only 11 years removed now from 100 years ago. 89 years ago, this was patented. It's been in the profession for that long. And in the 1980s, Rogers, he'll tell you a story that came up with a way to make it even more better. And then now we have the version 5, and we're looking at version 7 that's coming out. So there's a lot of really cool things. And we've added some other assessment tools, the range of motion device. We've added a pediatric unit so people that see a lot of kids can do the scans and develop patterns and see patterns develop as they develop, all to help chiropractors do what we say we do, which is to detect, analyze this thing that in our history and currently is called vertebral subluxation, or an interference in the expression of that balance in the nervous system. And guess what? Medicine is trying to steal that from us too. They've come up with this word called dysautonomia. Have you heard about it?
No.
Dysautonomia. They coined it in the late 90s, mid 90s, and now you can get like masters and PhDs in dysautonomia. And there's an imbalance in the autonomic nervous system caused by we don't know what, but when there's an imbalance with the parasympathetic and the sympathetics, left, rights, ups, and downs, nothing works right. Imagine that. We've been saying that for 100 freaking years. And they come along and they coin it, and now it's theirs, and they're making fun of our old antiquated tools because they don't cost $30,000. They're doing that with x-rays too. We adopted x-rays as a profession in 1915. First x-ray in west of the Mississippi in any clinic was at the Palmer Clinic in Davenport. The first x-ray suite put in was at Palmer School in 1915. It's been part of our profession for 100 years now. And they're trying to take that away from us. So I love being on the front end of things. I love being at the spear tip. And for us to be at the spear tip with this assessment tool to help us do what we say we do, to define even more clearly what we say we do, this vertebral subluxation, this interference in the expression of mental impulse, this expression of life itself. That's the point of where everybody else is going. Dysautonomia, psychoneuroimmunology. You can get a PhD in that now. How you think affects how your brain works, affects how your immune system works. You can get a PhD that started in the 1980s. Hello, we've been saying that for 100 years. Chiropractic is the point of the spear. All the stuff that's falling off, all the stuff that's laying in the garbage heap of history is where some of my colleagues are choosing to wallow. They're choosing to pick up the scraps, not off the table, but off the garbage heap. Medicine throws something away as not useful anymore. Chiropractors, the DC, picks it up and says, I want it now. You don't want it anymore? I'll use it now. You don't want that? I'll use it now. You don't want that? I'll make a big guru thing out about it. So we need to stay at the tip of the spear. We are leading the way. If you look historically at where we said we're going, all the other healing professions are trying to follow us. And that's why Titronics is so essential to know about. And then hopefully you choose to have it in your office, because very simply, in 5 seconds, you can see if somebody's balanced in their autonomic nervous system. So a lot of passion came out there because I just love this. Roger developed it. He asked me to come and help take it into the future. I see it as a legacy product, a legacy project for me. It's not something I'm grabbing, going to grow and sell. It's something I'm going to grab and grow and stabilize, make it bigger, better, stronger, and last beyond me. So it's a legacy project. So that's where Titronics come in. pureCHIROnotes, same thing, man. Got frustrated because we're taking leftovers from the medical field to do our notes. We're taking the leftovers, the scraps, the things that they don't even want anymore because it's archaic. We're saying, oh, we can use that. Let's make it a business. Let's do it our way. Oh, not our way. Let's do it their way, but call it ours. And it just got to be frustrating. So I cleaned off a whiteboard. It's like, what's the most important thing? Most important thing in any chiropractor's office is what happens on the table. That's the sacred place for chiropractors. The detecting, the analyzing, the offering up to the body that adjustic thrust and that specific scientific vector so the body can take it and adapt it for healing correction. That's the most special place in a chiropractor's office. So I built the notes around that, and then I told the team of programmers, do your magic. This is what I want. You do your magic in storing it. You do your magic in creating the reports. Here's some parameters. This note-taking can't take longer than the adjustment. Can't take longer than the visit. It needs to be done quickly. No scrolling, no tabs, no nothing. Just boom, done. And then we're going to add all the other stuff to help run an office on top of that. So that came out of it. Now, you don't even know this, but in chiropractic, there's a philosophy of chiropractic studies, a DPHCS. You can get a diplomate and then philosophy of chiropractic. The first step of that is called an ACP, the Academy of Chiropractic Philosophers. I took that class last year in COVID year, go figure, and my paper is actually on philosophically congruent note-taking. Here's the really cool part. In 1961, our current SOAP note program that everybody uses, in fact, you go to your car dealer and they're going to do a subjective objective assessment plan, a SOAP note on your car. That's how ubiquitous this thing is. It was developed in 1961. As I'm doing research on this in chiropractic, what did B.J. Palmer say? What did D.D. Palmer say? What are these other leaders or professionals? I found 1951, B.J. Palmer says, we need a way of categorizing what we do so that we can do research and da-da-da-da-da. He was 10 years ahead of the founder of the SOAP note system saying the exact same thing. I'm like, come on, guys. Why don't we celebrate how far advanced we are and quit bemoaning that we're so far behind and we have to advance and expand? No, we need to focus. We need to focus. A laser is only good when it's focused. We don't need to expand. We don't need to do the stuff that everybody's thrown off the table and into the trash. We just need to focus, focus, focus. One of the things that I know that we need to do is really hammer home this idea that we are separate and distinct. Chiropractic is separate and distinct, a separate license, distinct practice. If we just focus on that, that'd be great. But you know what? Let's just try to be different. Can we just do that? If chiropractors would just try to be different than all the other healing arts, you'd come back to chiropractic and you'd realize why we need to do what we do, because it's so precious and it changes lives and it's just amazing. So I know I got a little preachy, but I love this stuff.
So let's talk a little bit more about Titronics.
Okay.
How would someone get the Titronics unit for their office, and what could it how could it change their practice?
Well, the first question, how do you get it? You go to Titronics.com. That's our website. Find out about it. You can contact me from there. You go to Doc Hoskins at Titronics.com to talk to me directly. We have a Square store, or we can order it through the office. So there's a lot of ways to actually get the devices. How it changes the practice is at a very core level. It adds certainty that another objective, examiner neutral, examiner bias free device that measures something that I'm trying to see, the balance of the autonomic nervous system. I can see it right away. It adds certainty. It adds credibility. It adds trackability. It adds all these layers of authority to what I'm saying I'm doing. And so HRV can do the same thing. There's lots of things that can do this. X-ray, that's a big thing. If I see an X-ray, obviously I must know what I'm talking about. So this adds to that repertoire of tools in our toolbox to help us do what we say we do, which is assess that neurological imbalance, especially in the autonomic or automatic nervous system. And then if you use it properly and scan afterwards, so pre-scan every visit, post-scan every visit, you compare the pre and the post, and you see there's change happening. You can say, what we did today is affecting your nervous system. Go home and heal. Come back in your next visit. And so it's a reinforcement of what I'm telling you, but it's also a check. So if I don't see change, I'm like, you know what, Mary? I don't see much change here. Let's reassess and let me look a little bit closer and double check some things to make sure that I got it right the first time. So it's a double check. It's a reinforcement of what we do, but it's adding that credibility and reproducibility to the practice of chiropractic.
So what you realize is that we were moving forward with technology, and it was tethered to the profession, and we had to figure out how to make sense of it for the day-to-day practitioner to implement and to have access to and to understand why the method works.
Yeah.
And I think that that's essential for people because, like we were discussing, you know, when kids go through the track of school, they jump in to multiple clubs, and there's a huge confusion state as to how to deliver the goods and how to do the checks the right way. And, you know, every kid that comes out of school thinks they need 3 coaches and a mentor and a practice management team. And really what they need is certainty in their adjustment and their pre and post checks. And then they have the ability to go out there and to feel like they're communicating chiropractic properly to the people on the table. And that's the person that matters the most, is the practitioner and the person on that table. And if we can tether technology to where that translates, now we're speeding up the process of communication and education, which since day one, I've always been told that we need to educate people more and more and more and more and more. And now we're at that stage where we have to make it easier to communicate quicker because things move even faster and attention spans are like goldfish.
Yeah, they definitely are. And the other thing is, you know, once you start investigating our profession, you see that these tools aren't tied down to a specific technique. So X-rays, even though, you know, upper cervical people are really drilling home the idea of these cone beam computed tomography, the CBCT, the 3-dimensional X-rays of the upper cervical, amazing technology. It's not limited to upper cervical. Anybody can use that technology. Just like the thermography is not limited to upper cervical people. I'm a full spine doc. I was taught at Logan, so I work at the other end from my schooling. That's a joke, by the way. But Clay Thompson was one of the major proponents of Titronics thermography. So it's not technique specific on your toolbox. Some tools are, but most tools, how can I use this to do what I say I do? And I love that. I'm going to do what I say. The congruency is critical.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, True Weight Solutions, The 100-Year Lifestyle, pureCHIROnotes, Titronics, Passive Practice Profits, BrainTap Technology, Sherman College of Chiropractic, SCED, ChiroPro Accounting, A-Line, and Midwest Brain Health Technology. Let's hustle.
So let's also touch back on pureCHIROnotes for a little bit. How does it stack up against other note-taking software in terms of like price or ease of use, functionality?
Well, when we just talk about congruency, you know, almost all of the other software out there, a few exceptions, almost all of them are based on filling out the HCFA 1500 insurance form. And so they make you jump through all the hoops so that that form is filled out properly. And frankly, if you're going to file insurance, you better fill it out properly because it becomes wire fraud if you don't. Insurance fraud and wire fraud, neither one of them you want on your criminal record, right? So if you're going to do it right. But if you're like me and I practice in a practice, it's all cash. We don't do insurance. It's for wellness and optimization care, which no insurance covers. I don't have to worry about those forms. And so we don't make people fill out the fields they don't need. So what's one thing that most entry clipboard, you know, you think of the clipboard when you go to the doctor's office, one of the fields that they always have you fill out is your insurance information, or who's your carrier and what's your number. We don't do that, so we don't collect that information. Why would I need your social security number? I'm not doing anything with it. Why would I need to collect it? So we took all of this information that's been standardized in EHRs. It's like, why do we need that? We don't need that. We don't ever do anything with it. Let's not even collect it. We focused on the encounter, what happens on the table, and we're building out from there. Groups like Katana focused on the interaction with the client and built in from there. Jane App is a highly modifiable type of thing, but you have to spend lots of energy to make it do chiropractic. And it's not focused specifically on chiropractic. It was built for massage therapists and acupuncturists and nutritionists. But chiropractors, we love to take other people's leftovers and apply them to us. And so chiropractors have found a way to create all of this extra work to make that work for us. There's a few others that have come, a few others that have gone. But pureCHIROnotes is focused on that encounter and what can we do with that data. And then as we grow and as we bootstrap ourselves up, we add on new features. So price-wise, right now it's $149 a month. There's a $99 startup fee. If you tell them you saw me on this, we'll waive that. And then it's just month to month. There's a discount if you commit to a year or if you prepay for a year. But that all can be seen at the pureCHIROnotes.com website. We're here to promote you in practice. And if you're a new practitioner or if you're switching from insurance to cash, call me, talk to me. I'm happy to invest in you by giving you months of service for free. No charge. I'm investing that into your business so that you can grow. So 3 to 6 months, I'm offering up to somebody who's switching or just getting started in a cash practice model. And that's not new. That's what we've always done. I'm here for the profession. It's a legacy thing like Titronics, and so it's building for the future, not for the now.
Well, I absolutely love the ethos behind your missions and why you're anchored to things that you want to help establish better systems in the chiropractic profession, and it works. And if I'm right, maybe I am, maybe I'm not, but this is what I've heard through the grapevine is when a chiropractor adjusts and bills insurance, it's billed out as a manipulation and not an adjustment. And right away, that's incongruent modeling for what a profession that prides themselves on the adjustment and not a manipulation. So right away, we're incongruent with our modeling of a note system that teaches people that, oh, we're medical modeled when we're not. And I think that what you've done is you've done a one-upsmanship to the old systems to say, look, we're going to just practice chiropractic and we're going to bill out for specific chiropractic adjustments. And that's how we're going to build our practices. And that's how we're going to manage our clinics. And you guys can stick to whatever you've like you said, you took that insurance model off the trash heap and now you're like plugging that in and you're manipulating. Yeah. And that's just it, is they manipulated the old systems with the HCFA forms and turned that into chiropractic. So they shouldn't even bill out for that stuff. But they do. But it's
we could have a total. I mean, when I was at Logan, I actually created and taught the insurance class to my classmates in my last year on campus because I worked in the billing office for the clinic. So I know insurance codes. I know the ICD-9s. I know the ICD-10s. I know the CPT codes. I know this is not. I don't do them because I don't know them. I know them. Please show me the ICD-10 code that says chiropractic vertebral subluxation. It doesn't. It says vertebral subluxation not otherwise specified. They're throwaway codes. That's what I mean. Medicine has thrown them into a trash pile. We go over and it's like, oh, look what I found. I'm going to claim this. And medicine's like, go right ahead. We already threw it away. The NOS is not otherwise specified. It's a throwaway code. M99. You know why it's M99? Because after M99 comes N01. It's the last thing in musculoskeletal. It's the throwaway codes.
No idea.
Procedure codes 98940-123, 9940, 9941, 9942, 9943. You know why they're 989? Because 999 comes after that. They're at the end of what is like let's just throw these in here. They're leftover trash to the medical profession, and we are happy that we have them. I'm sick of that. Sorry.
No, it's important that we touched on that because I opened up the door fully wide for you to close it like that, and I didn't realize that was the scenario, that the codes were on the tail end of these long chain like billable like code operations. But I do think, as I've come into the profession, as you mentioned early on, I've done a great deal to promote this beautiful profession, and I was on a hike the other day and I said to myself, and I said to my friend I was hiking with, but I was like, if you were the last chiropractor, would the chiropractic profession survive? And BJ Palmer asked that a long time ago, but it just kind of ruminates with me right now, is the way that the landscape of the profession is shifting even more so than ever than it has in a long time, because of the confusion and the politics, not chiropractic politics per se anymore, but global politics. So I think that there's a huge tug right now at more truth in this profession, and
more truth in society.
Yeah.
Well, people are looking for truth, honesty, transparency, and connection. And on top of all that, they want truth with hope. They want connection with hope. We've always had that. If you're practicing real chiropractic, you've always had that. Like we talked before we started broadcasting, you can talk to any guru, you can talk to any practice management group, you talk to any coach that has people that are practicing in the medical model, people are practicing in the chiropractic cash model, and ask them which one they're doing better. Across the board, those that are focused on vertebral subluxation are doing better because we offer hope. Those that are practicing medical model, they have nothing else to offer. They're not offering anything different than the medical model, which has fallen in line with the confusion from the political side of things. We offer hope, we offer truth, we offer transparency, and we offer common sense, and that people are starving for that. And I'm calling my colleagues to action. There's only 70,000 of us in the United States. There's only 70,000 of us. Come on, let's get going. Let's gird up our loins, take up our sword and shield, give hope, give clarity, and do chiropractic. Don't do throwing away medical stuff. Let's do chiropractic.
Yeah, it's so essential, and with my focus is, if you're the last chiropractor in the world, would the chiropractic profession survive? If it's built on terms of the chiropractor. If it's not built on the terms of the chiropractor, it's going to get garbled up and sent off. But if it stays true to the profession of a chiropractor, oh man, the next 20 years is like the golden age.
Yeah, last year's been a proving ground for that. Yeah, last year and a half has been a proving ground for that.
Howard Cohen, the earlier interview today, he said he's been in practice for 30 years, and the past 2 years have been the best years of his career. And when you deliver the goods and you take care of people and you create safe havens for people to deal with their chemical, physical, and emotional stressors, and to adjust them and to remove that vertebral subluxation, allowing the body to heal from above down, inside out, the body's a beautiful thing.
But so that's the past. The future is to prepare them to adapt to new stressors that are going to be coming to them anyway. So it's not just getting them back to zero, it's getting them ahead of the curve.
Well, here's a question. Maybe we've already answered this in a roundabout way, maybe not. But when is a DC not a chiropractor?
When they don't do chiropractic stuff, when the DC only allows them to do the leftover trash that the other professions have thrown off to the side. You can have the DC after your name, but if you're doing the leftover, thrown away stuff, are you really a chiropractor?
There's a lot to be examined, and the DC is a powerful thing. I was having a chat with one of my friends the other day, and I said, do you realize you're 1% of the world population being a doctor, and how much pride goes into becoming that esteemed citizen in a culture, and to be able to heal people with your hands with nothing extra? I was like, do you realize how powerful that is? You're one of the chosen people. You're one of the healers, the light givers, the natural healers. And I was like, do you realize that you're a 1% of the world population that gets to do this? And you want to go do something else? Or they want you to do something else? I was like, that's not acceptable.
It shouldn't be.
And that's just it. Is the benefits, as we all know, used to be called the Mercedes 80s,
Mm-hmm.
the Nissan 90s, and these trend.
I've not heard that one. I love it. It's so true because I graduated in '92. And I bought a practice. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, we made money after money after money." And 92, 93, I'm like, "Yeah, I had a Nissan."
Yeah, we went
Anyway.
from the Mercedes 80s to the Nissan 90s.
Yep.
And then we went to the insurance denials and the lack of kickback for actually producing those junk codes and the challenging within the paperwork and the audits and all the stuff that came along with that. And now we're on the backside of that and we're looking back and we're like, well, which way do we go? And I think that, you know, in all truth.
Well, this is to answer your question, where do we go? We have today, the ICA published a celebration piece that the mandates for being vaccinated to be in these clinics don't apply to us. And my answer to that is yet. So this is where we're at. We have an international association claiming victory that this mandate doesn't apply to us. And I don't see any plans for the future. I don't see any statements of, and we're going to fight to keep it this way. And we're going to do everything we can to reverse it. We're going to fight with the other organizations that are fighting to reverse this idiocracy. And that troubles me. That troubles me a lot. Our state association, PSCA, I'm the executive director for that. We're working hard with other states to not only try to stop it in its tracks, but like our wonderful governor here in South Carolina said, fight it to the gates of hell so that it doesn't become permanent, so that it gets reversed, and so that we can go back to this life, liberty, pursuit of happiness idea that somebody wrote about a couple hundred years ago. Sorry, man.
You always have so much passion. Like you're clearly a very inspired individual. Who have been some of your heroes or mentors as you've developed into the person you are today?
Well, gosh, people that I've actually met in real life are limited to that, so we don't get into religion or other things. But Tim Langley is one of my dearest, most cherished mentors, and unfortunately he passed away about 2.5 years ago. So he's the one that pioneered the current membership cash model that we enjoy today. Other people have brought it. He's the one that pioneered and changed it with his mindset and his understanding of business principles. Understanding it's not just a business model, it's a philosophical model, it's a lifestyle, there's a lot of principles. And he helped flesh out the idea that the congruency is not just in what I believe, but it's also in what I say. It's not just in what I do, but it's in what's on my walls and what's on my advertising. It's not just in what I do, but it's in my business model being congruent with my philosophical model, being congruent with my billing model, being congruent with what I say, with what I do, with what I market, with what I teach, with what I preach. And so huge kudos to my friend Tim Langley. Again, he's not with us anymore. Most recently, growing with you guys has been a huge plus for me. Listening to 280 plus, probably more closer to 400 plus podcasts and lives and interviews you guys have done, I hear things a little bit differently than you do because it's my profession. And seeing the hope that there is for my profession, even if somebody says something I don't agree with, they still got some nugget of thing in there. It's like, okay, there's hope even in this thing that came out of his mouth or her mouth. And then being as close as I am geographically to Sherman, seeing that there is hope. There is a Battlestar Galactica, if you will, searching for the truth, searching for the homeland, fending off the evil cyborgs and Cyclops and those guys, and still thriving and being able to contribute as I can with them. So, Dr. Cordero is huge there. Dooley's a good friend. Bill Decken is one of my close mentors right now. Larry Goodman, you've had on the podcast, and he's kind of been part of the team. He and I still spend time together. And so in the profession, those are my close advisors. Roger obviously has given me a lot of insight into the history and the passion that non-chiropractors have. And then I've had the pleasure of being with, just a number of people, just being blessed with. And I'm going to feel really bad because as soon as we're done, I'm going to have like 10 people to say. But, obviously my wife is a huge part of my story, huge part of who I am. I wouldn't be a chiropractor without my wife. I wouldn't be back in practice without my wife. I wouldn't be doing as well and as much as I do without her. So that's just huge. That's, again, I'm going to feel bad because I wasn't prepared for this question.
Well, it's really beautiful to hear that you have such a reverence for your chiropractic family, those here today, and Dr. Tim that's passed. And, I think that it's also awesome that you recognize the support from your wife as to how you're transitioning to be your best version of a chiropractor, and support is necessary within the family. And I think that's something to be honored, because there's a lot of people out there trying to do it alone, and they don't have a lot of support, and they're trying to be the person, as we used to say, living on the island, surviving as an island, and don't know how to communicate to their spouse or to their support team that they need help. And I think that right now it's a good example to hear that it's okay for people to reach out to the people that are closest to them and say, hey, I need help. And I think that that's something that we have to definitely touch on, because right now everybody needs a lending ear.
Now more than ever, we need to not only be reaching out for help for ourselves, but we need to be reaching out to offer help to others. And I stand here before you today. If you want to talk with me, let me know. I'm happy to spend as much time as you need talking, helping you with whatever I can, with whatever I can do, and with my network of people. If you need to just talk and for some reason I seem like the person you need to talk to, please reach out and let me know. We've lost too many brothers and sisters in chiropractic. I've lost too many people in my personal life. This needs to not happen. We need to stay connected in a pure, clear, vulnerable, hope-filled way.
And on that note, I think we're going to wrap up this episode for the evening. Dr. Dwayne, thank you very much for being our guest again. It's always a lot of fun having you on the show.
Well, thank you, Luke. I love you because you love the thing I love, which is chiropractic.
It's true.
And together we all keep free speech alive and well in this beautiful profession of chiropractic, and always have our shield and spear ready, and keep on bringing more fire to the future of chiropractic by telling the damn truth. And I love what we do. And BJ would be clapping, Reggie would be clapping, Sid would be clapping, and all the forefathers and Logan would be applauding, and they'd all be very proud of the work that we're doing. And that's really what we started this for, is I wanted to create something that the forefathers of chiropractic would be very proud of, and that we could keep on delivering real chiropractic messaging to the chiropractic profession as a whole, but also for those up and coming students that might feel lost and not have something of truth to anchor to. So right. We are definitely penetrating the institutions from the outside and allowing them to be connected to a greater vision and mission and voice of chiropractic. And with that, Dwayne, we want you to have a great rest of your night out there in South Carolina. And Luke, enjoy your evening out there in beautiful state of Michigan. And I will close the chapter on episode 285 with Dr. Dwayne Hoskins. And just really appreciate you and look forward to our next team call.
Well, again, thank you. Titronics and pureCHIROnotes, appreciate it. And we'll talk very soon.
Awesome.
Enjoy your evening.
Thanks, Dwayne. Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.